Hey everyone, Dr. Aaron Moreland here from Vallejo Health and Wellness Center in Eden Prairie. And today what I want to talk to you about is a device that I think you're going to be using a lot over the next few weeks to even the next few months. But really you probably should have been using this device all your life and should be using it quite often. And that is your sink. And the reason why we're going to be talking about this today is one of the things that we're hearing from everybody in order to stop the spread of coronavirus, and really any germs for that matter, is that we want to be washing our hands on a regular basis. And what I want to talk to you today about is, well, what is the real reason that washing your hands works? I think if you talk to most people, they would say when you wash your hands, you're washing away the germs, you're washing away, or maybe even killing those germs by using some type of a soap. And that is true, but that is actually not the biggest reason that washing your hands works. Back in when I was in school, going to chiropractic school, we had a microbiology class, and I was super surprised by this experiment that we did. The experiment was that we were going to see how many germs were on our hands. First thing we would look at is how many germs were on our hands without even washing our hands. So we took our hand, put it on an agar plate. Agar is just the stuff that a bacteria can grow on. Put it on an agar plate, put it in an incubator. And then what we did after that was we washed our hands for 10 seconds with soap and water, put our hand on a different agar plate, put it in the incubator, then 30 seconds, washed our hands with water and soap, put our hand on the agar plate, put it in the incubator, and then we took our hands and washed them for 2 minutes with soap and water, did the same thing, put it in the incubator. And so we put that in the incubator for a couple days. Then what we were to do during those couple days was predict which one we thought would have the most bacteria on it. And I think if you're like most of us in the class, we all thought, well, of course the one where you didn't wash your hands at all, because that's going to have the most germs on it because you didn't wash your hands. But actually what we found was, as we got the agar plates out of the incubator, it was the one where you'd washed your hands for 30 seconds. And it had the most bacteria on it, which we were very surprised by. But then what we were supposed to do is we were supposed to take that bacteria off that agar plate, look at it under a microscope, and look at what type of bacteria was there. And what we found out was that it was very beneficial. It was good bacteria. And what we learned during that experiment is that when you're washing your hands, you're not just getting rid of some surface germs that maybe you just touched, but the other thing you're doing is, if you look at your hands, you have all these cracks and crevices. Well, bacteria tend to kind of bury themselves in those cracks and crevices. And what you do when you wash your hands is you pull those bacteria to the surface, but that bacteria is good for you. That bacteria acts like a barrier now between you and the rest of the world. And so it's kind of like you got these bacterial gloves on. It's very similar to, if you're familiar with that good bacteria in your gut, your normal flora, how it can help keep you healthy and help your body work the way it's supposed to. Well, so can the bacteria on your hands. So really what you're trying to do is get those bacteria, viruses off that you just touched, but then try to bring those bacteria up from the cracks and crevices so that you now have a barrier between you and whatever you're touching. So again, really surprised me, because who would have thought that good bacteria would actually help your, getting more bacteria in your hands would actually help you, but it does. And so washing our hands, that's the biggest reason we should be doing it. So we don't want to just wait till we go to the bathroom to wash our hands. We really want to wash our hands maybe 5 to 7 times a day to do that, to bring that bacteria to the surface. And so I'm going to show you just a couple little tips when it comes to actually washing your hands. And so one of the things that we found was that in that study, it was at 30 seconds when you saw the most bacteria on your hands. 10 seconds barely brought anything to the surface, and 2 minutes you got a diminishing effect. You actually started getting rid of that good bacteria that was on your hands. So 30 seconds, if you've ever heard people talk about singing happy birthday a couple of times, or twinkle little star. But then I also heard just yesterday from a patient that why not just say the Our Father. You can be praying while you're washing your hands, which is a great thing. You can do both something spiritually healthy and something physically healthy. And so when we're washing our hands, we turn on the tap. Some of the bathrooms we go to don't have to turn on the tap. But when you wash your hands, really important that you are using soap and water, and it's you got to do it mechanically. You have to really scrub your hands. and it has to be for 30 seconds. I won't go through the whole 30 seconds, but rather than now, if you did have to turn it on, what you do next is just grab a towel, dry your hands off, and then take that towel, turn off the tap, use that towel to get out of the bathroom, and then just throw it away wherever. So now you don't have to touch, get exposed to germs that might be on those handles, okay? And so that's a tip that when we're washing our hands, so again, at least 30 seconds. Now, when it comes to do you need to use antibacterial soap? Well, one of the bad things about using antibacterial soap would be that if you're scrubbing your hands for 30 seconds, you start to kill off that good bacteria that's on your hands. So really, just plain old soap and water will work. How about hand sanitizer? Well, one of the groups in our microbiology class, they decided to try to use hand sanitizer, and they did, and we found that there was definitely a lot less bacteria on your hands, but the problem is if you did it for a long period of time, like say that 30 seconds, you would start killing off that good bacteria. So if you are going to use it on your hands, very quickly, just don't do a lot of rubbing it in. And then the other thing that I always recommend to people is rather than trying to do it on your hands, why not use like a wipe, and whatever surface you're going to touch, wipe that off rather than wiping your hands constantly with this hand sanitizer, because you can start to kill off that good bacteria in your hands. So this is Dr. Aaron Moreland here with Vallejo Health and Wellness Center in Eden Prairie. And again, we're here to help you through this. We're here to teach you things that you can be doing for your immune system, to keep your immune system healthy and strong, and really just keep your body working the way it's supposed to, whether there's a coronavirus, the flu, whatever else is out there that may be trying to infect us. There's lots of things that you can do, and your body was created very powerfully. It has the greatest pharmacy known to man inside of you, so use it to your advantage. Again, hopefully you're having a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you in the next video. God bless.